Hello there, everybody. We're here to pull cards for July the 6th. I am going to be pulling one card for each sign, but before that, I'm going to pull a card for overall energy, and then we're going to combine those cards to look at our predictions for the day for each sign. Let me make a little adjustment. Get her in front of me. There we go. All right, so did I say July the 6th? I meant to say June the 6th. Hopefully, I said June the 6th. Anyway, overall energy shows up as yippee skippy. We've got the falling tower showing up as our overall energy. So, tower has a lot to do with things that are unexpected, things that kind of come out of the blue, things that are a serious shakeup, a big change in something. This can be a big transformation of some kind, something that we may not be expecting to happen. Sometimes it's something that we're actually causing to happen, and it's a big shakeup for somebody in our experience. Bum, bum, bum. And it usually has to do with something that at least at one point made us feel stable and secure. Maybe it's not so much anymore. So we're just going to see how this plays out for everybody here. Is this a tower that we are causing or a tower that we are experiencing? Let's find out. Aries. Judgment card, Aries. I think that this is a tower you are causing. You have really thought about some things and you have tried to look at them from every angle and tried to really make sense of something in your life and make sense of what your best decision, what's your best good judgment in this situation. And what I'm seeing here is that you're the one that is making some changes. You're making some shakeups. Other people are having to adjust to this. You're the one that's causing this and causing it intentionally because you know that this is going to lead you into something better than what has been. So good for you, Aries. Next up, we're looking at Taurus. Eight of Coins. So I'm getting a double meaning with this. First of all, this tower does have to do with something about your work, whether you work for somebody else, have your own thing, or whether you work around the house or do volunteer work, whatever your work is. It's not always defined by a paycheck. Whatever your work is, there's some kind of shakeup happening in your work. And yes, Taurus, I think some of you are creating this shakeup yourselves intentionally. Intentionally. You're making some big changes and you're doing it because they make sense to you. Okay? I know you don't changes because I'm a Taurus rising, but in this case, you do. All right. Gemini. Okay, you guys have the Nine of Clubs coming up here. Geminis. Now, with this Nine of Clubs, it's really obvious to me that whatever this tower overall energy is, wherever that major shakeup is happening, it may not be happening today. You're preparing to shake things up. You're getting things in place for a shakeup. So I think that you have a shakeup in mind. You're going to be bringing that into fruition. But right now, you're preparing. You're getting yourself in a good space so that when you do that, everything will be fine. Next up, we're looking at Cancer. Four of Swords. This is my taking a break card, stepping back from something, becoming more objective. So Cancer, there has been some type of major shakeup. I'm feeling like that's actually already happened in the past. That's happened before today. So you're very well aware of it. I think right now you're just looking at the situation as objectively as you can and sort of sorting through, okay, what are my options? Where do I go from here? What's my next step? That type of stuff. And you're doing it objectively. I think you're taking any emotion out of it so that you can make some good logical decisions. Next up, we're looking at Leo. Knight of Cups in reverse. Leos, I think there's somebody in your sphere of influence who maybe a romantic interest or a love partner. Um, doesn't have to be, but could be. That really has kind of made you feel a little let down. I think that they are not offering quite the uh, kind gestures or romantic gestures that you expect from them, that you have come to expect from them, is what I'm hearing. And so I feel like you're wondering, that makes you wonder, is there something going on that I don't know about? Is there some kind of big deal happening behind some closed doors somewhere? So we see you asking that here. Now, interesting to point out, and I want to make sure that I'm very clear on this. I don't, these cards don't say that there is something like that happening. These cards are saying that you are wondering if there's something like that happening. Okay, so whether there is or not, that's going to be different for every Leo, but you're going to have to do your own research on that. Don't be saying, Amista said. All right. Now, let's look at Virgo. And by the way, these are general readings. Not everything I see here is going to apply to every single person. So keep that in mind too. If you want to get real specific information that's just about you, then you want to book a private reading. You can see how to do that on the website right above. All right, so who are we looking at now? That was Leo. Next up, we're looking at Virgo. Virgos. Four of Clubs. This tells me there's some kind of shakeup that has to do with family or tribe members, possibly some kind of shakeup that has to do with home. Huh. This could literally be an earthquake for some of you Virgos, and or a tremor. Doesn't even have to be a big earthquake. This could be literally the earth shaking. And if that would happen, that would be around home or around family or tribe members. Although I'm going to say, I would be very surprised if that applies to anybody at all. Maybe one or two people. I'm not picking that up big time, and it wasn't the first thing that I picked up. So I really am not going to predict earthquakes here today on my channel. Not even tremors. But there is some kind of shakeup that has to do with your family or with your friend circle, your tribe members, or possibly your home. For some of you, home, but only 20-30% of you, your home. Most of you, it has to do with other people that you feel close to. Okay, family or tribe members. Some kind of big shakeup. All right, let's look at who's next. Libra. Libra, Libra, Libra. Here we go. Five of Coins showing up in reverse. Boop-a-da-doop-boo. This is interesting because there is definitely some kind of big shakeup that shows up here, Libra, but with the Five of Coins reversed, that shakeup actually works out in your favor. It either puts you in touch with more people socially that I think you may have been wanting to be more in touch with anyway. And it very well also could be impacting your finances in a positive way as well. So this shakeup works out really well for you, Libras. I'm not necessarily sure that all of you created this shakeup yourselves. Maybe some of you, maybe about 20%. But I think most of you, the shakeup happened and you weren't too thrilled about it originally. However, it is working out well for you financially and socially. All right, let's look at Scorpio. Scorpio's Queen of Clubs coming up in reverse. Queen of Clubs in reverse. What's happening here, Scorpios? We may not be feeling as much energy as we normally do. We may be feeling like we're moving a little bit in slow motion, or like we have some type of creative block, or there's some type of blockage on something that we're trying to accomplish that we're doing independently and self-sufficiently. I hope I don't know what that is, at least in my life. Only 4 planets in Scorpio. All right, let's look at Sagittarius. 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 Okay. You guys have the Chariot. Sagittarius, I'm going to say for a lot of you, there's some kind of problem with your transportation, whether it's your vehicle, whether if you ride the bus or some kind of public transport, it could be running late. There's something going on that's a shakeup, that's unexpected, that has to do with your transportation during the day today. Okay. Next up, we're going to look at Capricorn. Why do I feel like I'm going to go back to Sagittarius? Why do I feel like some of you have like a bicycle race running through your town and that's clogging up traffic? I'm sure that is not all of you. I am also sure that's at least one of you. That's hilarious. All right, let's look at Capricorn. I know it's only hilarious till you're sitting in the car watching all the bikes zoom by. Let's see. I've been there. Capricorn, Capricorn, 9 of Swords. What do we have here? There's some kind of big shakeup or big change that you're all stressed out about, Capricorns. That's what I'm seeing. And it's interesting because I think you're considering making a big change, and I think you're stressed out about it. The stress may be from the idea of trying to decide when is the perfect time to make that change. This type of situation is always a good one to get a reading in. You know, when is it ideal to make this change? Is it a good idea to make this change? How can I make this change most efficiently and effectively and happily? All of that kind of stuff we can look at in a reading in a situation like this if you want it, Capricorn. And of course, if you want to find out how to schedule a reading with me, all you have to do is check out my website right above. I am revamping it right now, so hopefully that'll actually lead you to one version or the other of my website. If it doesn't right away, give it a couple hours and it should be back to a new and improved normal. All right, let's look at Aquarius. Aquarius, you guys have the Lovers showing up in reverse along with that Tower coming up. This is pretty clear here. This means that there's somebody that you consider yourself a partner with. And for some of you, it will be a romantic partner, but for others of you, this is a business partner or a friend that you do things with, colleague, something like that. But there's somebody that you normally partner up to do things with that you're having a hard time being on the same page. And I don't feel like either one of you were expecting to have this difference of opinion here. And it looks to me like this can be pretty volcanic whenever it first shows up. But what I'm feeling is that as you guys kind of retreat to your own corners and have a time to think about things, I think you guys are going to be able to negotiate and work things out once you can communicate about them. For those of you who are in relationships that, the communication is solid. But I think that this is going to be some pretty intense energy of not being able to see things from the same point of view whenever it first shows up, Aquarius. Next up, we're looking at Pisces. Okay, Knight of Swords showing up in reverse, Pisces. Boop, ba-da-doo. I think that Tower card, I think you're actually creating it, and I think you're creating it because there's something that you need to say to somebody in your sphere of influence. I think that it's funny, Pisces, because you guys, I think of you guys as being in a really, you guys try to avoid confrontation almost at all costs. But a lot of times cards will come up that talk about some type of confrontation that needs to happen in your life or that is happening in your life. And so I really think a lot of times Spirit gives us like the exception to the rule in these cards rather than the actual what's the norm. And so I think that you have to give somebody some kind of information or news. You have to say something to somebody that you know they're not going to want to hear. I think you already know they have a very good possibility of having a rough reaction to this. I'm going to advise you, for those of you who are in a potentially dangerous, like physically dangerous situation, actually conveying this message, take some precautions. Not everybody is in that type of situation, but for those of you who are, take some precautions before you say this. Do some things to keep yourself safe. Whatever that looks like in your particular situation, because everyone's situation is going to be a little different. But don't just go in there and say what you need to say and expect that everything's going to be totally and completely okay and fine. There is going to be some type of reaction. So for those of you who are dealing with somebody who's a little bit more volatile than not, definitely have some kind of plan for your own safety. Okay? And that's not going to apply to everybody that they would need a plan for their own safety, obviously. But uh, I don't want to. I don't want to pass along a message like this that says you're going to have to say something to somebody that they're not going to like without also giving that advice that, be safe about it though. And you guys who are not in a uh, safe situation as you pass along advice, you're gonna know that. You're gonna know that. This has to do with, the person that you're talking to. You wouldn't have information for them if you didn't know them. Okay? All right. So anyway, let's not harp on that. I think I've harped on that enough. Thank you guys very much for spending some of your precious time with me today. I do actually very much appreciate it. And remember, you guys are my wonderful sponsors. So if you got anything out of this video, please put a thumbs up. If you think that it might be helpful for anybody else, please share it. And then, of course, also put some feedback down below. Let me know how I'm doing. I always appreciate reading that. Everyone have a fantastic day. Peace out.